Smells like baggy shorts, black socks, and a whole lot of buckets. Yo, what's good guys? My name's Chris. Welcome back to the official WearTesters.com YouTube channel. Today we got a detailed look and review on these bad boys right here. This is the Nike Air Flight Huarache, a classic from 1992. And before we get started with these guys, real quick, this is the box. It is not quite styled like the original, but they really tried. The originals were all black. I believe that it had a more deep lid. You know, when they're like V'd like that. This one's just a regular like open top lid. But either way, the shoe is back and it's supposed to be truer to original form than ever before because the shoe is re-released multiple times. They've even done a low top. The shoe is essentially a low top, but we'll talk about that later. But this is supposed to be closer to any version that we've seen before, which based off of images, it looks to be true. Are they perfect? No. Is it close enough? I'd say so. I mean, I'm happy. This is my first pair of like this one like this. I've only had the free bottom version, which was basically this kind of upper with a Nike free sole. That was actually one of the first shoes that I used that didn't have a rubber bottom to it for basketball. And it was one of those like weird, like, I don't think this is gonna work. And then man, it worked, which is weird because that's a Nike shoe and it worked really well. Yet the Tatums are slippery. Like the rubber parts are good, but the parts with no rubber, not so much. Now the shoe originally released in 1992. Most people probably, or I wouldn't say most people, but a lot of older heads, they probably remember these most notably for being worn by damn near everybody on the Fab Five. It was Michigan's almost staple is baggy shorts, black socks, even though I didn't find any images of them wearing black socks with these. It could have been tape though, like white tape and stuff. But either way, baggy shorts, black socks, and then they were a Nike sponsored school, so they were wearing all the hottest anything that Nike had, they were rocking it. And this was one of the shoes in this colorway, believe it or not, which I think is really, really dope. They were also worn by multiple NBA athletes, Reggie Miller being one of them. And like the name states, this is a Huarache model. So this actually followed the original Huarache, which was a runner. And basically they took the runner style and then they revamped it into a hoop shoe, which is weird when you think about it, especially back then. It was unconventional at the time, but nowadays it's pretty commonplace where it's almost like a blurred line between categories, especially if you look at like stuff like the Currys and things like that, where more and more shoes feel like runners than they do traditional basketball shoes, at least 90s style basketball shoes. Now, in addition to being released in 1992, they were actually co-designed by two legends, one of which was Tinker Hatfield, the guy behind the original Huarache, also the man behind the Air Jordan 7, which released in the same year. If you look at the original ad, like the TV spot ad for this shoe, they slickly placed the guy warming up or stretching. One of them was wearing these, the other one was wearing what I think was Bordeaux 7s. And then the other designer is one of my favorites. You guys probably know him by now because I've been talking him up for quite a long time, but it's Eric Avar. This was actually his first basketball shoe that he ever worked on.
Wow.
He did a bang up job too.
Right?
His sketches are killer. One of my favorites is actually of the heel tab. Originally, he was thinking of putting the Flight logo, the F, on there instead of Nike. I do really like the way that that looked. I wish that it would have looked like that. However, seeing it like this does make sense though, because it says Nike Air. They have to promote what's inside the shoe, which I understand. They ended up moving that F all the way down to the midsole, which is right over there, which we've seen recently on the Nike Air Flight Lite 2s, also worn by the Fab Five, so I thought that was kind of neat too. But anyways, as far as tech is concerned, look at this outsole, man. This is gorgeous. This also reminds me of that Flight Lite 2 because this cutout right here, that's actually the foam midsole poking through. So you got lots of cushion in this shoe despite them being from 1992. But anyways, the outsole is beautiful. It's gorgeous. It's thick. It's rugged. It's herringbone. And man, these just make me want to go right outside and start getting buckets. You can use these indoors. You can use these outdoors if you choose to grab them to play in. I believe most people are probably going to either grab these for casual use or they're going to rot on shelves, which is unfortunate. But it's a classic nonetheless. Actually, these were good enough for one of the greatest players of all time, Kobe Bryant. He wore these as a retro. They actually released some of his colorways, some of his PEs before. I believe we might even see some of his other PEs that didn't release in this shoe later on this year, so I think that's really cool. But anyways, the outsole is awesome. I love all the colors. I like the weird splash of green that doesn't seem to belong there, but hey, it was 1992. It does belong there. And then moving on up, we have a Phylon midsole. This feels way different than the runner, so if you love the original Nike Air Huarache, which was again a running style sneaker, those feel like damn near clouds with air inside of them. These are a little bit more firmed up. Obviously it's a different sport, so you got a little bit of a different setup there. However, the air cushioning systems are the same. So in the heel, you have an encapsulated air sole unit, and on the forefoot, you have much of the same. One of the cool things that I've always really liked about Nike's tech is just that you can see like where they carve out the flex flex grooves. So like you can see one here and then the other two there. They've got these on multiple Air Jordans and things like that because they use the same style 4-foot air unit in them. And inside of the midsole, if you were to look at that air unit, it would have those same exact flex grooves. So they just kind of like sit right in there like a puzzle piece and they move in tandem with one another. It's awesome. Now they're not uncomfortable by any means, so don't take, you know, what I said the wrong way. They're just not as comfortable as the running version of the shoe, but it's still great nonetheless. Now the upper is really, really nice. I think at least it's not like premium materials or anything like that, but what we've got here is a really nice soft leather with a really thin layer of polyurethane. So it just kind of like flexes and moves and it's so nice. I want to say awesome, but I think I've said that like 20 times already. And like I said earlier, they redesigned this shoe or tweaked the design to the shoe to be as close to the original as possible. So while they're not calling these like remastered or anything like that, they're definitely trying to make it feel like it's a remastered product. Again, closer to the original than ever before. And what was most notable about the Huarache's build was, again, that it was taking huge inspiration from the runner. So what we have here is very minimal layers. We've just got, you know, the leather shell basically in the toe and the midfoot. Obviously it does wrap around the heel and everything, but the main build or body of the shoe is actually the internal, which you can see throughout all of the cutouts, and that is the neoprene booty. And yes,
it's beautiful.
Some of the pictures online have, for whatever reason, desaturated the out of the color, so don't pay attention to those if you're worried about that, like them like looking like they're a muted version of the original. These, while they're not super vibrant, they don't look like the pictures to me. The purple just looked really, really plain online, and in hand, much more vibrant. Not super vibrant, but much more than what we saw on there. But much like the runner, like I was saying, they got the internal booty. It's more of a high top cut than a low top cut, which I think is dope. You still have the classic Huarache logo on the tongue, which I love. It's rubber. It feels really, really cool. And just like the runner itself, it has 2 rows or 2 sets of eyelets. So you can use either one for a customized fit. You can use the top row, you can use the bottom row, you can alternate if you wanted to. So yeah, I think that that's a really cool feature, and I don't think that we see this often enough because we've got many people with different shaped feet, and options on the eyelet panels is one of the ways to kind of like accommodate for everyone. And then the collar area is made out of fake nubuck or synthetic nubuck. Originally it was called Durabuck, and this is the part where they kind of removed that for the low top version, which was a retro, not an original. The originals were done just like this with this extra wing and all that stuff, but as most of you guys know, that's not ankle support, which doesn't exist anyways, but basically it was for placebo. It was able to just kind of like lock your heel into the back of the shoe. There is an internal heel counter as well, so as long as all that stuff works, then the support's fine. The insole is ortholite, and I'm not going to take it out because I don't know if you've ever tried to take something out of a neoprene booty and then get it back in there, but it's awful. And then my favorite feature, which is one of which that they carried over from the running version of the shoe, is the plastic or TPU counter or heel counter area. I just absolutely love it. I think it looks fantastic. I will say that while it's easy to get into the runner version of the shoe, these are not as easy. They're quite hard. Make sure that you have enough time before work or wherever you're going, like if you're going out to dinner and you want to wear these. I don't know why you do that, but I probably would. So if you're going to do that, just give yourself an extra couple of minutes and then you'll be good to go. Now, as far as sizing is concerned, they do fit true to size. However, they're a very snug true to size. They're almost a narrow true to size as well. So if you like a little bit of wiggle room, you might want to go up half a size. If you have a wide foot, same thing. However, if you like a snug fit, going true to size should be good to go. I don't know when these are supposed to release in the United States, but they have already released per usual overseas. So that's where I got my pair from. There's multiple eBay accounts that are actual retailers that you can buy these from. And that's what I did. They got here pretty quick. It's awesome.
As a wide footer, although I can't speak for the basketball one, but the traditional one that you see everybody wear, I know I definitely had to go up a full size.
That shoe's the sizing on that one, because even even I have to go up a full size. So yeah. Like minimum, you know what I mean? Or half a size minimum, full size for comfortable, because that shoe, the neoprene booty, just sucks the out of your foot in there, dude. It's crazy. This is not like that. It's a little bit different, but still very snug. If you wear that shoe, don't use that size as this size. It's not the same thing.
Okay.
This is a different beast altogether. Different last, all that stuff. That shoe had no back. This was the heel counter.
I know, and it was awful. It felt like it was trying to strangle my heel.
Well, I really love those, but I do know that the fit is not for everybody. But with all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks for all the support. Let us know what you think about these down below in the comment section. Are you excited to finally have these back? Are you like me and maybe this is your first pair? Either way, I'd love to hear from you. And again, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching. We will catch you on the next one. So until then, have a good one.